So you can probably see now I've got these doors painted, the half doors, and I put them on my door tree, the thing I use for painting doors. I haven't flattened and polished them at all. I'm just going to leave them as they are for now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some rust proofing on these so that the rust proof will drop into these channels. But I did want to show you something interesting about these. These are off a Defender half doors. And you can, I don't know if you can see, but it's got the provision here to pop rivet the seal onto the bottom of this door, which is a good thing. But there are some drain holes in it. But funnily enough, if any water gets under this part here, then water has to jump over this to get out. It can actually go between the skin and the frame, and that's why they rust out so much. I'll tell you what, let me take the camera off and I'll show you in a minute. But first of all, I'm going to show you the product I'm going to use. Today I'm going to use Proform. I usually use April, but they didn't have any amber in stock. This is a similar thing to wax oil, but it's very liquid. Ooh, there you go, you see, it's very, very liquidy. This is so much better than wax oil because it creeps into all the joints. And the tool I'm going to use to push it in with is this pressure pot. Now this is unlike a siphon gun, like a Schultz gun for example, but the thing is you put these two together and pressure fills this pot, and this is why it's solid, you know, like billet aluminum or aluminium, and then it squirts its juices out of here. Now you can probably see my hose is supposed to have a 365 degree nozzle. Well, that didn't work out when I was trying to tug it out of a job and it stayed inside the frame. So I'm going to get on with that, and then I'm going to shove these doors on, assemble them, and then we can clean up the workshop because this raccoon is pooing all over the place and I need to get tidied up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to, that's my job, and I'll show you the results once we've filled it full of, well, is it wax? I don't know, it's rust proofing. But first of all, let's have an interesting look around this door. Looking from the underside of this door, you can find there's a series of holes, and that allows the panels to breathe. And the same at the very bottom of the door, they've got a nice big hole here, and then some little drain holes here, just to sort of let any moisture that does get into the framework, to let it get out. Now it is worth interestingly to notice that there's no seam sealer between the frame and the crease that I put on. There isn't anything behind here. Usually American cars, they put a seam sealer on there, but these don't for some reason. So there's another good reason to put plenty of rust proofing on. So you can see, like I was mentioning before, there's the rivet holes. If I had the seals, it would be an ideal opportunity to put them on. Well, sadly I don't. Oh, wait a minute, I just think I've seen one over there. So let's get this rust proofed up, and we might be able to get a seal on here. So I got the doors fitted to the Defender, the half doors, and I rebuilt the tops at the same time. I put the half door on the bottom first rather than doing it in the workshop, simply because it's easier to work to put the assembly together here, because I painted everything, you see. I took it all to bits and painted everything, but it also gave me an opportunity to replace the felt seal here. This felt seal, ironically, is the same felt seal they use in the side windows of the 110s and the 90s. You know the sliding windows? I showed you how to do that earlier. Let's have a look. Here. I never get it right. One thing when you fit in your doors, you already know your door gaps are right, because we showed you how to do that one. Here. But sometimes when you fit in your doors, you'll find that they're not quite parallel. They might be twisted. Just simply before you put your door top on, give them a twist. Don't be afraid. And the same goes with the 110 doors. You sometimes have to really pull and twist them to get them to fit properly. So that's one little thing. The next thing I'm going to show, well, another little modification I did. I got some of these bolts here. Let's see if we can zoom in. these nuts here, these came from Rovers North and I've had them for years and years. So what I did was I changed the thread size of the pins coming here. And these are really easy to spin on and off with your fingers. How easy is that? I'm going to take the camera off now and get some food into this raccoon because he's making all my videos too noisy. And I'm going to show you about the door seal at the bottom. I mentioned earlier that the bottom of the door had provision to put the later type Defender door seal on. Not the very late one which comes up round the side, but one that pop rivets underneath. And if you can remember from another video, that I made these, I cut the original old rubber seal off here, took off everything, and I made it plain like a 300 TDI. Again, I'll do a video link here. I hope that works. But you can see when the door shuts, it hits the seal right in there, look, absolutely perfectly. So that's nice, that's going to work nice. So that was just to finish this video off, so I hope you like that. That's about half doors. I mean, not a lot of people mess about with these half doors, but I thought, seeing I had them, well, I'll put them on. Yeah, everything's sort of lined up right. I had some new check straps, but I've got to put a piece of foam in there because that's going to stretch the frame. But the actual old frames, they're fitted perfectly. We can see down here, when I tighten up the bolts, a piece of sealer is squidged out. Hey, that's good. I don't mind about that. But one thing I do, I'll just bang on about this a bit longer. I changed the hinges to the sort of TD5 style hinges here. I think they're a lot better. They don't bleed rust out so much, but they're okay. They're better than the old ones. The replacement ones for the early Defenders, like the series ones, were absolutely, the replacement ones are sometimes worse than the ones you've taken off. They're so loose, and every bit of looseness in the Land Rover doors needs to be tightened up to some degree. And if you're going to put loose hinges on, well, you're fighting a losing battle, so put some decent ones on. But what I did notice was the bolts never seem to be long enough. Now that's pushed all the way through, but I can't even get a nut to start on it. This is as far as you could go, so you can't put a lock nut on. So simply what I'm going to do with this here, I'm going to get a drill and drill this down inside a little bit, so and all of them really. I think I'll just drill them down and I'll put some paint on them again, so they go better. So it would be wise to do that before you painted your door, but hey, I didn't know what it was going to be like. So the next thing I've got to do today, which is quite simple, this back panel here is off. You can just see the outline where the striker went onto. We've got to change it to put some holes in here for the newer type of striker, which is, well, it's here on the floor. Must have fallen off last night. So we've got to put these in like this, if you see what I mean. Not a big deal, just got to mark some holes up and measure them out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a paper template that fits here, so I know that that position is the same, and also I'm going to pick up off these two bolts here, so I'll make a template so these bolts are sticking out, if you see what I mean, like cut a little hole. And then, if you can see up there, let's have a look, there is the original box, and that has got the original type of strikers on. So all I have to do is mark out those holes, and everything should be in line. So I think that's covered the doors. They worked out nice. I've got to give them a bit of a flat and a polish, but everything looks nice, and they weren't very expensive to do. So can you put a Series 3 door skin onto a Defender? Yes, you can. So we'll talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, talk to you later. Bye bye.